They told Obafemi he was the next big thing. They handed him titles, gave him pyro, put him on magazine covers and called him unstoppable. They built him up like a skyscraper, tall, shiny, and impossible to ignore. And then Roman Reigns looked at him. That's it. That's all it took. One look from the tribal chief and suddenly, everything Obafemi has been saying, everything he's been doing, everything he's been bragging about on SmackDown, it all sounds different now. It all feels smaller, quieter. Like a child yelling into a storm and pretending the thunder is scared of him. Because Roman Reigns does not warn people he considers equals. Let that sink in for a second. Roman Reigns does not warn people he respects. He warned Obafemi. And that should terrify every single one of you who thought Oba was ready for this moment, because Roman Reigns just told the world exactly what he thinks of the man they've been calling the new face of WWE. And it wasn't a compliment. It wasn't an endorsement. It was a death sentence wrapped in a whisper. And if you think I'm being dramatic, stay right here. Because by the end of this video, you are going to understand why this confrontation doesn't just change Obafemi's career trajectory, it ends a chapter of WWE that hasn't even fully been written yet. Drop a comment right now. Do you think Obafemi survives Roman Reigns? Because I want to know how many of you are actually living in reality versus how many of you have been drinking the Obafemi Kool-Aid. Let's get into it. Segment 1, set the scene. Who is Obafemi right now? Before we talk about what Roman did, we need to talk about what Obafemi has become, because this isn't the same guy we saw getting polished in NXT. This is a man who has fully stepped into his villain era, and he has been feasting. Obafemi, for those of you who need the recap, is one of the most physically imposing human beings to walk through a WWE locker room in years. We're talking about a 6 feet 5 inches, 290-pound Nigerian-born powerhouse who moves like he's half that weight. The man has agility. He has intensity. He has a jaw-dropping presence that makes you stop scrolling when he shows up on your screen. And more importantly, he has attitude. He has started carrying himself with the kind of arrogance that only works when you can back it up. He's been dismissing challengers. He's been running through opponents. He's been cutting promos with a cold, calculated superiority that reminds you of a young Batista mixed with the menace of Bobby Lashley at his absolute peak. The WWE universe has been buzzing. The internet wrestling community has been buzzing. People have been saying out loud, without shame, that Obafemi is the future. Some of the most respected voices in wrestling have put him in the same conversation as the next top guy. He has been walking around WWE programming like he already owns it. And then Roman Reigns came back. Not with a title. Not with Paul Heyman. Not with the bloodline. Roman Reigns came back with something more dangerous than any of those things. He came back with perspective. Segment 2, the confrontation. Break it down play by play. Now let's talk about how this confrontation happened, because the way Roman Reigns delivered this warning is just as important as the warning itself. Roman didn't storm out. He didn't sprint to the ring and start throwing punches. He didn't grab a microphone and scream. Roman Reigns walked out slow, deliberate, measured, with that look on his face that every single wrestling fan on planet Earth knows means something bad is about to happen to somebody. Obafemi was mid-promo. He was in his element. He was commanding the crowd, soaking in the heat, playing the villain role to absolute perfection. And you could see it. Oba knew Roman was out there. He felt it. The crowd felt it. The air in the arena changed the second that familiar theme hit. But here's what made this different from every other confrontation in recent WWE memory. Obafemi didn't back down. He didn't flinch. He stood his ground. He looked Roman Reigns dead in the eye and essentially said, "I see you, and I am not afraid." Which, on paper, sounds incredible. On paper, that is the making of a legendary rivalry. A new monster standing up to the greatest of this generation? But Roman Reigns has seen that look before. He's seen it from Brock Lesnar. He's seen it from Cody Rhodes. He's seen it from Sami Zayn, from Kevin Owens, from Seth Rollins, from Drew McIntyre. Men far more experienced, far more decorated, far more battle-tested than Obafemi, and every single one of them has felt what happens when the tribal chief stops talking and starts doing. So Roman smiled. That's what got me. That is the detail that I cannot stop thinking about since this segment aired. Roman Reigns smiled. Not the cocky smirk. Not the disrespectful grin. A genuine, almost pitying smile. The kind of smile a chess grandmaster gives when an opponent makes a move that seems bold but has already been calculated 3 moves ahead. And then he said the words. The warning. I'm not going to quote it word for word because I want you to feel it in context, but the message was crystal clear. You have no idea what you're walking into. That's it. That's the whole warning. Not a threat of violence. Not a promise of championship gold. Not a passionate speech about legacy or bloodlines. Just a quiet, devastating truth delivered like a verdict from a judge who's already read the sentence. The crowd erupted. Not because it was hype, but because it was real. It felt real. It felt like two titans from different eras finally standing in the same room, and one of them just realized the other one has been in wars they can't even imagine. Obafemi's face, and this is what you need to go back and watch if you haven't. Oba's face did something in that moment that his character never does. It flickered. Just for a second. Just a fraction of a second. But it was there. A flash of something behind those eyes that wasn't arrogance, wasn't confidence, wasn't calculated aggression. It was recognition. The recognition of a man who just realized for the very first time that he might have miscalculated. Segment 3, Why this warning is more dangerous than any attack. Here's what people are getting wrong about this segment, and I've been reading your comments and watching the discourse online, and I need to correct the record right now. People are saying Roman Reigns should have attacked. People are saying this was a weak segment because nobody got speared, nobody got put through a table, nobody bled. People are saying WWE is soft-pedaling a feud that should be electric. Those people, with all due respect, do not understand Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns at his most dangerous is not Roman Reigns throwing Superman punches. Roman Reigns at his most dangerous is Roman Reigns making you doubt yourself before the match even starts. Think about his greatest rivalries. Think about the psychological warfare he waged against Daniel Bryan, against Edge, against Cody Rhodes in the build to WrestleMania. The physical stuff, the spears, the guillotine chokes, the ringside chaos, all of that comes after Roman has already won the mental battle. By the time Roman Reigns physically destroys you, he's already destroyed your confidence, your momentum, your belief in yourself. He is a wolf. And wolves don't chase sheep. They circle. They wait. They let the prey exhaust themselves with panic before they ever close the distance. The warning he gave Obafemi wasn't a weak moment. It was the opening move in a psychological game that Obafemi does not yet have the tools to play. And here's the thing that nobody is talking about, and this is the part I need you to pay attention to, because this is the stuff that separates the casual fans from the people who truly understand this business. Roman Reigns gave Obafemi a warning publicly, on camera, in front of thousands of live fans and millions of viewers at home. That means one of two things happens next. Either Obafemi responds aggressively, decisively, in a way that proves the warning was wrong and elevates himself to a level we haven't seen yet, or Obafemi hesitates. He overthinks it. He starts performing instead of competing. He starts trying to look unaffected instead of being unaffected. And the moment you start trying to look confident instead of being confident, Roman Reigns has already beaten you. Roman Reigns has now placed a weight on Obafemi's shoulders that every single one of his future performances will be measured against. That warning is now the standard. Oba has to clear it every single week until they actually fight, and that is an exhausting place to perform from. That is evil genius booking if WWE follows through. That is Roman Reigns doing what he does better than anyone in WWE history, making the story about himself even when he's not the champion. Segment 4, What this means for the future, the stakes. Let me tell you what's really on the line here, because this isn't just about a match. This isn't just about a title shot or a WrestleMania moment. This confrontation has set up something much bigger than a single event. This is about succession. WWE has been building toward a moment, a passing of the torch moment that they have tried and stumbled on repeatedly over the last decade. They tried it with Bray Wyatt. They tried it with Bobby Lashley. They had flashes of it with Drew McIntyre. They almost fully achieved it with Cody Rhodes, and depending on who you ask, maybe they did. But with Obafemi, there's a different energy. There's a physicality and a charisma combination that is genuinely rare. And Roman Reigns, the man who has been the torch for the last 4 years, now has his hands on it, deciding whether this is the guy worthy of carrying it forward. If Roman Reigns elevates Obafemi, truly elevates him, the way he elevated Sami Zayn by making him a credible threat, the way he elevated Cody Rhodes by making their rivalry feel like the most important thing in wrestling, then Obafemi becomes a superstar for the next decade. But if Obafemi falls short, if he can't match Roman's level in the promos, in the ring, in the storytelling, then this confrontation doesn't make Oba. It exposes him. And there is no coming back from being exposed by Roman Reigns on this stage. The pressure on Oba right now is immense. And frankly, that's exactly where it should be. You want to be the guy? Prove it. Roman Reigns didn't get handed anything. He fought, he clawed, he reinvented himself completely, and he earned every second of his tribal chief era. Now it's Obafemi's turn to answer the question that Roman just asked him publicly, permanently, in front of the whole world. Are you ready? Segment 5, The Tribal Chief's Legacy and Why Oba Must Respect It. I want to take a second because I think this is important to remind everyone watching exactly what Roman Reigns is. Not what the character is. Not what the storyline says. What Roman Reigns actually is in the context of professional wrestling history. 4.5 years as Universal or WWE Champion. Consecutive title defense records that broke records set by legends. A WrestleMania main event run that is unmatched by anyone in the modern era. He unified championships. He headlined the biggest events in the company's history back to back to back and delivered every single time. He took a character that the fans rejected, tore it apart, rebuilt it from scratch, and turned himself into the single most compelling performer in WWE, possibly in all of professional wrestling, for a multi-year stretch. And he did it with commitment. He committed to every word, every look, every slow walk, every "acknowledge me" like his life depended on it. That is who Obafimi just got a warning from. Not a legend from the past. Not a retired Hall of Famer making a nostalgia appearance. A current, active, fully locked in Roman Reigns who has something to prove, because Roman Reigns always has something to prove, even when he has nothing left to prove. That is what makes this dangerous for Oba. That is what makes this the most compelling feud on the horizon in all of WWE right now. You have a hungry, talented, arrogant new monster against a cerebral, experienced, absolutely ruthless veteran who has broken better men than him. And the warning has been issued. The clock has started. Outro call to action, high energy. So here is where we are, Ring Rumble One Nation. Roman Reigns has drawn the line. He has looked Obafimi in the eyes and told him without flinching, without raising his voice, without throwing a single punch, that he is not ready. That this world he's trying to enter is not what he thinks it is. That the tribal chief sees him, truly sees him, and is not impressed. Now the ball is in Obafimi's court. And the next move he makes will define his entire career. I want to know what you think. Drop it in the comments right now. Is Obafimi ready for Roman Reigns, yes or no? And if you think he's ready, tell me why. Defend your man. Let's have this debate in the comments, because I genuinely want to read your takes. If this video got you fired up, and I think it did, share it. Send it to your wrestling friends. Post it in your group chats. Because this is the conversation the whole WWE universe needs to be having right now. And subscribe to Ring Rumble 1 if you haven't already, because when this feud explodes, and it will explode, we are going to be covering every single second of it with the depth and passion that you deserve. I'm not done talking about this. And honestly, neither is Roman Reigns. Acknowledge him.